Once upon a time, there was a man with 2 wives. His first wife died early, leaving behind a young son named Van Lin. He also gave birth to another son named Van Lang. Van Lang is many years older than Van Lin, but the 2 brothers play together more closely than brothers of the same mother. When Van Lin was bullied by neighborhood children, Van Lang immediately defended him. But Van Lang did not know that the boy and number 39's mother considered Van Lin an enemy. As Van Lin grew older, his father let him pursue a career in literature. As for Van Lang, he has long followed his father to get used to the job of overseeing farming. Their family inherently has food and wealth. The entire huge private property has been saved for several generations, with nearly dozens of acres of fields and an acre of garden, with a tiled house with jackfruit trees, one of the best in the area. Suddenly the father became seriously ill and passed away. On the outside, the stepmother treated Van Lin sweetly and kindly, but on the inside she wanted to pull out the thorn in front of her. As the intended child, Van Lin will receive almost all of his assets. As for Van Lang and his mother, at most they have a few acres of bad fields and a farm on the other side of the hill. Custom has set my fate as such. The stepmother suddenly became evil and wanted to kill her husband and number 39's son to take over all the inheritance. That thought burned more and more in her heart, even more so since the day her husband, Van Lin and number 39's advocate, was no longer there. One day, the stepmother sent the 2 brothers to bring money to buy wood. Before leaving, the mother called her biological child into a private room and said, "Son, please find a way to eliminate it. The forest is full of wild animals, your strength is twice as strong as that. If you are smart and discreet, you will not be afraid of any crime." The mother whispered, "If he survives, we will have no place to live. Only by subtracting it can we hope to be happy." Van Lang did not want to listen to his mother, but also did not want to displease her, so he just pretended to obey and packed up and left. To the forest gate. Van Lang told Van Lin the truth about everything, then said, "My mother has always tried to harm you. So you should find a way to escape. Take all the money to buy wood and spend it. At some point, please come back, we will live together." When Van Lin left, Van Lang killed a dog and smeared blood everywhere, then returned to tell his mother that he had finished killing Van Lin. On the other hand, told everyone that his brother had been mauled by a tiger and disappeared. No one in the village suspected anything. The stepmother thought that her plan had been successful, and from then on, she no longer had any worries. Again, Van Lin said that she sadly said goodbye to Van Lang and left. Alone, having never left home before, now alone in a strange place, he hesitated and did not know where to go. Wandering around forever, finally one night he returned to his mother and number 39's grave, lay face down on the grave, cried, and fell asleep. In the grave, his mother loved her child so much that she appeared as a large phoenix bird, holding her child in her wings. Seeing that the sky was about to dawn, the phoenix used its legs to grab Van Lin and fly away. From a high mountain, the phoenix landed. Waking up, Van Lin was stunned, but the phoenix said, "I am your mother. Please stay here and Don and number 39's come back because it and number 39's dangerous." Then every day, my mother will come to me." After saying that, the phoenix turns into a house and all the food for Van Lin to eat and live there. Afraid that the child would neglect his studies, the phoenix brought books for the child to review. During the day, the phoenix disappeared, but at night, it flew to where Van Lin lived to protect him. In the early morning, it crowed to wake its children up for school, and then took off to fly home. At that time, at the bottom of the mountain, there was a scattered residential hamlet. In the hamlet there was a girl named Nok Chow. Nok Chow is as beautiful as a flower but has no husband. She had a servant girl named Hong. The two of them depended on each other for a living, using weaving to support themselves. From the time Van Lin came to live on the mountain, Nok Chow and his students wondered why there had been no people on the mountain since ancient times, but now at dawn, when they sat at the loom, they could hear the phoenix crowing. Heard the sound of his student studying loudly until morning. One day the rooster crowed in the 5th watch. Nok Chow pretended to extinguish the fire to force Miss Hong to go up the mountain to ask for fire from the student who was then reading a book. That day, Van Lin woke up early to light the lamp and study, when suddenly he heard a knock at the door. When he opened the door, it was a girl. After lighting the fire, he asked the girl to borrow a jar of oil because his own oil had run out. Ms. Hong pointed to her house so he could go down and get it. Thanks to that, Van Lin became acquainted with Nok Chow. So he had friends in the neighborhood, and at night the lights went out together. From the moment they met each other, they wanted to become husband and wife. One day, Nok Chow invited him to live with her in the same house so that she could light up her books. Being informed by the child, the phoenix brought him clothes and money. Then it didn't and #39, come back anymore. The wedding was simple but also very fun. From now on, reading books with him and her far away, no one can beat that warm scene better. After 5 years of successful study, Van Lin lifted his tent and took the exam. After passing the exam, he entered the capital and decided to compete in the festival hall. He was happy when he heard the loudspeaker announce his name on the Doctor and number 39's board. On the day of honor, flags, gongs and drums were fanned and the army loudly marched back to the countryside. Seeing his glorious return, Van Lang was extremely happy and reunited. Meanwhile, the stepmother suddenly heard the news and had no time to hide, so she crawled under the bed and hid. But because she was so scared, her gallbladder burst and she died, turning into a cricket. Thank you for joining us for today's fairy tale. We hope these stories bring joy and meaning to your day. If you love our channel, please hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any exciting tales. Wishing you a good night and sweet dreams. See you in the next story.